Today, we're going to talk about trains. No, not 18XX. Today, we're going to talk about trains. Today, we're going to talk about trains. There are many train-themed games on the market, so why is this one special? Well, it's more fun than it has any right to be. It's simple, and it's surprisingly underrated considering it's been on the market for the past 9 years. And that's why I want to take some time today to show you what an amazing game Trains truly is. At first glance, this board may call to mind recent success Irish Gauge, in which you build a spider web of railway networks that connects cities as it stretches across the landscape. But this game is actually a deck builder. That's right. While you're trying to build out your vast and sprawling train network, you're limited by the cards in your hand. And these cards will let you lay track, or build stations, or even let you know if you have any trains, which is currency in this game for some reason. Each card can be broken down into 4 parts: the value of the card, the cost of the card, the type of card, and any special effects the card might have. Now that doesn't seem so hard, does it? Playing cards to lay rails or build stations? But of course, it's not that easy. Looking at the board, you can see we have various types of land scattered about to make the lovely landscape of Tokyo, in this case. Want to build track on these lovely plains? Go for it. There's no extra cost for playing on plains. But placing track in cities will make you pay an additional cost of 1. Stations on these cities will also increase the cost by another 1 per station. Rivers will also have a cost of 1, while laying track in mountains will have a cost of 2. Okay, so I know the game calls these mountains, but come on, they look like forests. And all of this will have to be paid from cards in your hand, making your hand the limiting factor for where you are able to grow. As more and more track gets laid, you'll start coming across spaces you want to lay track, but someone else is already there. Unlike many train games, these spaces can hold track for all of the players. However, you do have to pay an additional cost of 1 per player already in that area. Want to build on an ocean? No, you can't do that. You ever see a train on the ocean? As I kind of alluded to before, stations can be added to any city. Each city can only hold a limited number of stations, as indicated by the building icon in each city space. Now, while stations make it more expensive to lay rails in the city spaces, they also show you how much each city space is worth at the end of the game. Cities with no stations don't get you any points. There's nowhere for your train to stop, and passengers don't think that's very exciting. But cities with 1 station, that'll get you 2 points. Cities with 2 will get you 4 points, and cities with 3 stations will get you a whopping 8 points at the end of the game. Maybe you find yourself in a city with another player. You now get to see who will invest in the station, or will it be a stalemate with no one ever building a station in that spot? Or maybe you work together. You might even find yourself next to an already fully built city with the money to take advantage of someone else's hard work. Laying track or building stations produce these annoying waste cards which have no special effects, and their sole purpose is to clog up your deck. Want to lay 3 track in 1 turn? Great, but now that's 3 more waste cards added to your deck. And if you play track in a spot with another player, not only do you have to pay the additional cost, but you also get an extra waste. And sometimes you'll find yourself with a hand full of waste. Luckily, even if you do find yourself with a lot of waste in your hand and nothing you're able to do, you can take a waste pass. This will let you discard all of the waste from your hand and return it to the market deck and get it out of yours. There are many other card options than just laying track and building stations. There are also victory cards, train cards, and action cards. Victory cards cost a little more than other cards, but they are worth points for endgame scoring. However, they have no use during the game. They're kind of like shiny waste, except for the fact that they actually come with a waste. While we start with normal trains that only have a value of 1, they can be used to buy even greater trains. Some of these trains will also have extra effects that help you reduce waste in your hand or give you even more buying power. Action cards will also give you extra things to do each turn. These effects can range from preventing you from gaining waste this turn, or allowing you to discard cards from your hand and draw new cards, which will hopefully be better. The game ends when 4 of the card stacks are completely empty, or if all of the stations have been played on the board, or when a player has used up all of their track tokens. The game then goes to Endgame Scoring, where you count up the points from remote locations and cities within your network. This also will include victory cards from your player deck. And because of all of this, there's really no good way of knowing who's won until the end of the game. Trains comes with 2 maps, Tokyo and Osaka. There are so many possibilities with 35 different cards in the box. You can make so many combinations and variations, but if that's still not enough, there are expansions. Why play with only 35 cards when you can play with 100? Rising Sun is a standalone expansion. You can play this expansion without needing the train's base game, but you can also combine both games together for even more variety. Rising Sun adds a lot of new cards into the game, giving you more ways to get rid of waste through cards like Recycling Center, or perhaps you want to draw more cards into your hand through using some legal counsel. But a type of action card completely new to Rising Sun are attack actions. These will let you interact directly with your opponents and make them deal with things like protesters or unhappy passengers or even train regulations. Another new feature in this expansion is the ability to score points during the game. This can be done through special cards like Tourist Train, or by using route bonuses. Each map has 5 route bonus cards, which give you an objective and an extra one-time bonus. But this bonus is only given to the player who makes the connection first. And of course, Rising Sun brings 3 new maps to the table: Nagoya, Kyushu, and Chiba. Kyushu and Chiba are specifically meant for 2 players. Coastal Tides can be integrated into either the base game or Rising Sun and brings even more cards to the table. This expansion includes cards more focused on laying track and building stations. Now you can use cards like Overbuild, which will allow you to go over the city limit for stations. Or perhaps you might want to start building stations out in the countryside. And remember how I said you couldn't lay track in oceans? Coastal Tides puts sea bridges into play, allowing players to build on the ocean. Coastal Tides also brings 3 new maps into play: Okayama, Sapporo, and Mount Fuji. Sapporo and Mount Fuji are meant for 2 players, while Okayama is meant for 3. For even more options, there are plenty of other maps on the market. These include maps such as Germany, Northeastern USA, Italy, Europe, California, Texas, Saitama, the Bay Area, and China. This game truly embodies a deck builder in the fact that rarely will 2 games be the same. There are some cards that may see plenty of use in one game and barely any in another. Every game uses 8 unique cards in the market, and with a variety of options, there's a low chance of the market ever being the same between 2 games. Some games will have you chaining the effects of action cards, while other games may focus more on trains or laying track or building stations. Or perhaps you go for the big money strategy and focus only on victory cards. Unfortunately, one of the big downsides of this game is that it is no longer in production. That being said, there are still plenty of copies available on the market. I have introduced this game to dozens of people, and several of them purchased the game before we even finished playing. This game doesn't really belong in the world of trains, but it also kind of doesn't belong in the world of deck builders. It seamlessly merges into something that's almost new. And I enjoy playing it so much, even though I can't describe why I enjoy playing it. But something about this game draws me back again and again.